Good, a lot of good work today. Really, our Tuesday practice, and in preparation for Louisville. Tremendous opponent. Coach Strong, as good as there is in the profession. Probably the best quarterback in the country. One of the more talented teams in the country in general. So a great challenge for us to go there on Thursday night and have an opportunity to be one of them. Questions?
Jamal's off the injury report. You haven't listened to the starter. I'm assuming he's okay, and
he's okay.
You're welcoming him back.
Yep, Jamal's been cleared to play, and he will go on Thursday night. He'll be the starter.
And how do you think that impacts what you may want to do against Bridgewater?
Well, I think it impacts. I think it makes us better on defense. I think that's what it does for us. We're going to play our defense. We certainly have a tremendous amount of respect for Teddy and what he's capable of doing, but we have to play good defense within our system. And Jamal Morrell is an excellent football player, and he'll make our system better, which hopefully will help us play better defense on Thursday night.
Do you think he can play a starter's workload?
I do. I think he's ready to go, and he's passed all the tests and qualifications that he needed to get cleared. Physically, he looked like he could have played last week, but he wasn't medically ready to play. So now he's cleared and ready to go.
From a conditioning standpoint, how much energy is there now 24 hours after a 4.5 hour long game?
I think when they're young people, they bounce back pretty quickly, and a couple of guys are a little bit sore and that type of thing, but the energy was excellent out here tonight. We went a little bit longer than we would on a normal Sunday, a little less than we would on a normal Tuesday, so somewhere in between to get everything in that we needed to, but we got everything installed that we would normally install on a Tuesday, which was the most important thing.
Does it matter who starts at running back? I see you have them listed as or. You gave them both almost an equal amount of carries. Yeah?
Exactly, and I don't think it does. I don't think it does. And Savon will start the game, and Justin will go in the second drive just like he did last week, and both those guys will play through the game.
At right guard, do you still Muller still your guy there? Or are you going to platoon?
Muller will start the game. Antoine he came out of it with a little bit of an ankle issue, so he couldn't go tonight. And on a short week, that's tough. You don't have the normal time to recover, so we'll see. I'm optimistic that he'll go on Thursday night, but we'll have to see exactly what it looks like tomorrow.
What made you put Antoine in the game Saturday, and what did you see on film from both of them?
I thought Chris was doing a good job, but at that point in the game, we felt like Antoine could give us a little something different. And when Antoine got in there, I thought he took advantage of his opportunity. And it was never a move that was meant to be permanent for the season. And now that Chris has got a chance to sit back and watch the tape, we'll get him back in there now, and I think he'll do a good job for us going forward.
How much of a luxury is it to have a fifth-year guy like Antoine, first team all conference last year, to be able to come off the bench like that?
I think if your team is going to play at a high level, your fourth and fifth year players have to contribute and have to play at a high level. And Antoine's one of those guys for us, and somebody who's done it and when healthy can really be a valuable part of this football team.
Now you talked about what it meant for when SMU had a NFL caliber quarterback, Garrett Gilbert. Does it change when a team has potentially the number one overall pick in the draft? Does that raise the level even more about the?
I think I don't think there's any doubt that he'll be the number one pick in the draft. I think Teddy's a tremendous football player, and I had a lot of respect for him before we played them last year, and even more afterwards, just by the way he performed, with the injuries that he had at the time. So, when you play a quarterback like that, I think what you just have to go into the game understand is he's going to make some plays, and you try to minimize that with what you do on defense, but you're not gonna stop him completely. That's just not how it works.
Right, but it's a different threat than Carr and Gilbert, right? Because they both threw 70 times. I'm assuming you don't anticipate Bridgewater's going to throw 70 times.
I don't, but I don't ever try to guess.
Okay.
But their statistics would say he's not going to, and their numbers would say that. And the way they play offense is different from those two teams. They want to run the football like we do, and they want to challenge you down the field. Teddy Bridgewater will throw the ball down the field, and they'll throw it down the field quite a bit. He's got some talented receivers, so I'm not sure if all those receivers are available to him, judging by what happened in the last game. But they have some talented guys out there running around, and they are going to push the ball down the field, and he does it with great accuracy.
How did you feel the offensive line did in pass protection against SMU, and what do they need to do? Because I think Louisville has the number one sacks guy in this conference and number 3 too.
I think the issues that Louisville presents is that they're tough to run the ball against, and because of that, they've been able to get people off schedule. And philosophically, they're not very different than what we're trying to do, even though they don't necessarily do it exactly the same way. I thought in the last game at times we performed really well, and over the course of the full game, and I believe it was 90 snaps in the game on offense, we had some plays later in that game that hurt us a little bit, more so in the run game than in pass protection. We gave up some sacks, but those weren't necessarily one-on-ones. One was on the back and one were at. So, overall, I think we did a pretty good job pass protecting. But it's going to start with the ability to run the football on both sides. I think if they're first, we're second or third. So the teams that can limit, the team that runs the ball the best will probably have the best night in pass protection.
It's been installed as I think it's 16 or 17 point underdogs. Just your thoughts on that?
I don't concern myself with that. I don't usually look at it to see what it is in other weeks, so I don't have a frame of reference to comment on it.
Did you get an explanation on that 2-point conversion anymore from yesterday?
I have not. Now, Terry McCauley, who's the director of officials in our league, he also works in the NFL. So today he's working his job in the NFL, and I generally catch up with him on Monday. And I'm curious because I thought it would be something that could be reviewable, just because I thought it was an egregious error. But we'll see what the official word is. I don't know that I'm right after from Terry.
Did you see the play we were talking about at the end of yesterday where Jeremy ends up kicking the ball out of bounds?
We did. We did look at it, and there's a whistle on that play. That stops the play. So we have to find out why the whistle might have been blown when it was. But again, those are things that I have to talk to Terry about. The officials in our league do an excellent job, and it's a game played at very high speeds, and they have a challenging job on their hands, just like we do as coaches.
You rely on a couple of true freshmen key roles, thinking in Deere and Justin. Do you worry about this big stage, ESPN Thursday night? You think they're past that at this point?
I think they are. And I think once you get into a college game, these guys have all been the focal points of their teams in high school. I don't think that part of it is any different to them. And then once they've done it in a game, for me, that's enough. I tend to not try to predict it before I see them do it in the games. But once guys can get out there and show that they can perform, I don't know that there's any more sense of urgency because there might be more people in the stands necessarily.
Got time for 2 more.
How much stress will Teddy, because of the way he goes vertical, put on your secondary? Is this a completely different test than that you've been exposed to all year?
I mean, I don't know about completely different because SMU pushed the ball down the field a little bit. The way they'll do it will be there'll be some drop back, there'll be some play actions. I think it's critical when you play against a quarterback like this that you do your job on defense, and it's an oversimplification, but it's really not any more complicated than that. They've got talented players, we've got some talented players. If we do a good job stopping the run and keeping them off schedule, we'll do better in pass defense. If they're able to run the ball, then everything gets harder.
Do you anticipate using TJ in a similar role? TJ Johnson in a similar role?
I think with
Did
Jamal,
you like that?
I do
was that
like.
different?
Well, I do like it, but I like it a little bit more against some of the personnel groups that we're playing against.
Yeah.
I think now with Jamal available to us, had Jamal been available last week, I don't know how we would have used it as much. We probably still would have used it, but maybe in a limited role. I think now that Jamal's back, Jamal can do some of those things, and that TJ can go back there at safety and give us some depth there as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.